Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this. What is today, the 21st day of July? Supposed to have Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez come in. He's not backstage yet, but we will get this figured out as we go along here today. Going to talk about the Giants signed James Robertson today. They signed James Robertson. They are preparing potentially for a long haul type of holdout for Saquon Barkley. I'll get to that. And of course, if Carlos comes in, we'll ask him about his thoughts on obviously the DeAndre Hopkins. Also, there's another angle here. Why didn't New England? I got to thinking about it. Why didn't New England sign DeAndre Hopkins? I think they could have won that bidding war. We'll go ahead and take our first and only break, and I'll be back here in 49 seconds on Sports Scope.
Welcome to Sports Scope.
Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Back here live on All Links, and Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez. Hey, Carlos, are you in Clarksville, Tennessee now?
Clarks Vegas, my man. Clarks Vegas.
I knew you'd come through in the clutch, man. You get open you're like Travis Kelce, man. You always find a way to get open just when I think you might not be able to make it. You find a way, push the guy out of the way, get open for the end zone, touchdown, Sports Scope. Okay.
Nah, man, you know how it is. I'll let you know if something happens. I'll let you know.
Yeah, you are the man, brother. I appreciate that. I really do. And, I've got laundry to do. I've been doing extra runs. I couldn't make it up there. I wish I just had some more time, brother.
Yeah, no, this was a program.
When's the next time you're coming?
Probably in the next few weeks or something like that. I'll let you know. We'll set something up. I got a few places we can go that people know me, that we can set up something nice, and maybe even have like a show about, what teams in the NFL are going to be, are going to be hot or not. You know what I'm saying? So we'll check it.
Even if you don't, I'll come. Even if we don't do a show, I'll still come up there and holler at you, and maybe just do a rerun that night. There's some news today, broke this afternoon. I sent you the screenshot.
Yeah, man. Tony Bennett died, bro. Rest in peace, Tony Bennett.
Oh, well, yeah, rest at 96. Yeah,
96 years
left
old.
My heart, San Francisco. Tony Bennett, 96 years old. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah. Well, the internet been saying he's been dead for the last 10 years. So, every time I looked online, I was like, I don't think he's dead. But yeah, no. Big ups to him. Much respect to him. We lost a legend. But every day legends are born and every day legends pass. So, rest in peace, Tony Bennett.
Yeah, Tony Bennett died. They were saying the same thing about Betty White on Twitter for 5 years before she actually died. I think she was close to 100.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we was coming up, they was already a little bit older than us.
The Golden Girls.
Yeah, so, you got to – I always tell people one thing, we're not promised tomorrow, so we have to appreciate what we got today. You know what I'm saying?
Try not to take the small things too serious.
Yes, sir.
By the way, speaking of older people, over the weekend, I'll tell you what, It's not as cheesy as I thought, and it's actually pretty good. 80 for Brady, believe it or not, it's actually pretty funny. I can't.
Well,
yeah,
that cast of older ladies now, more mature women, they've always been funny, and some of them have worked together for a long time on different projects. So I could believe it that it's not too bad of a film. I'm gonna catch it myself in the next few months.
yeah.
So
I think it's on Amazon if you've got Amazon
Yeah.
Prime. And do you have Netflix, by the way?
yeah, I got almost everything except the local sports networks for New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was going to tell you that also. I've mentioned this to the audience this week. That quarterback documentary is all that and a cup of soup.
Yeah.
They go through all of last season with Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins. Very good stuff. Very good I'm telling the audiences too, of course. So
Yeah, like I've always felt bad for Marcus Mariota because aside from Chip Kelly, nobody's been able to use his skills to the best of his ability. He's been able to take the Tennessee Titans to a couple playoff opportunities, and still he makes money, but it's just he hasn't been in a good system in a while. So
yeah, he lacks that communicate. You could tell him and Kirk Cousins both lack really elite communication skills compared to a Patrick Mahomes, a Brady, even a Rodgers, Hall of Famers, Troy Aikman. Those guys are very it's not necessarily have to be offensive. Even Jalen Hurts, they're very assertive with their teammates, particularly wide receivers. And Mariota's a little bit of a reserved guy. You cannot be reserved. Even Eli, but Eli was quiet, but he was direct and assertive in his own way.
The thing about
Giants.
The thing about Eli, and I try to tell people this because we talked about Eli. I actually mentioned him this morning on, Are You Serious with Keith? It's not that Eli Manning was a top 10 quarterback when he played, but he was always available, right? He was always there. Even if he had a small injury, he was going to start, and maybe like at the end of the third quarter, he'd sit out the fourth quarter, right? If they were winning or losing, whatever. But he was always there, and his backup, who is Carr's brother, the latter Carr, like he was
David Carr.
David Carr wasn't some regular Joe Schmo who played for the Giants as a backup. He was actually pretty decent. So even if Eli had the one little incidents here and there, there was always an opportunity for the Giants to have a decent quarterback at in the moment, in that time frame, in that time period. I don't feel the same about Daniel Jones, but again,
Daniel Jones looks like he plays too fast, and Eli never got rattled. I mean,
Nope.
You could tell Eli that the world's coming to an end. He said, "Well, what am I supposed to do about that?"
Right.
I mean, that's just the way. And Peyton be like, "Everybody panic! Everybody panic!"
And the thing about Eli too is the way his attribute works was that it didn't matter what was going on, but it mattered what he did to control the situation, right? And I think that is a type of assertiveness and the type of leadership qualities that people are looking for a quarterback, right? And I'm not saying that Daniel Jones doesn't have it. What I'm saying is that last year he was able to do some of that, but Saquon was the reason that Daniel Jones was able to do most of that.
Yeah, that's my first question. That's a good transition. What do you think? Do you think he's going to hold out for the year? Let me ask you that question. Do you think he could possibly sit out the whole year?
Yeah, so my opinion about Saquon sitting out or not, he's whether he does or he doesn't, it's a situation that Sean and the Giants have put him in. They should have paid him first. And I say that, and I mentioned that this morning. It was like, if you think about it, Saquon was a top 5 quarterback, and Daniel Jones wasn't even a top 10 quarterback. I mean, Saquon was a top 5 running back.
Top running back,
and Daniel Jones wasn't even a top 10 quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And they're putting the money in the quarterback, who, if Saquon wasn't there to save his butt in like 4 games, and now you're not paying the guy who put you in the situation to win.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I were him, I would possibly sit out because I don't think they're going to have a winning season, to be honest with you. Even if Saquon's on that team,
Yeah.
they still have an O line that's up and coming. They still have younger guys that are wide receivers. They brought in a couple guys, but I don't think Waller is going to be better than he was as a Raider. He might be.
He
good.
has to stay healthy. He's hurt a lot down the stretch there.
And again, I don't think Waller's a tight end. I feel like him and the former tight end that they had that's now in Jacksonville, they about the same body.
Ingram.
Ingram and Waller are about the same size. So, and when I see those guys who are like Graham and now you have Waller and Ingram, don't put them out there to block. That's not the skill level. You know that you could throw them the ball. Just make them an inside, wide receiver. Like he's not that big. You're not going to be taking hits. I know that's a part of the game, but it's okay if it's one or two times. But 10, 15 times they got to block. Look what happened. Even with a guy like Gronk, who's big, right, and heavy, and was able to push guys off and not get Brady, save him a few times, been able to to do things. Look at his career. He could have been the best tight end that we've ever seen, but now he's one of the best tight end we've ever seen. Because Kelce, unfortunately, if you're not a big Kansas City fan, has better stats because he's not blocking 100% of the time.
They say he's not the best blocker. The thing about what Kansas City does, they do a lot of quick reaction plays where he doesn't have to hold a block that long. He just basically has to push a guy.
No. So what I see,
unlike San Francisco, where you got to power drive your guy,
Right. So what I like about Andy Reid is that he forces, because they know that Kelce can catch, he forces those linebackers, some of those front end defensive ends to follow Kelce.
Yes.
Right. So Kelce
clears out space. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kelce would just make space, and that takes away from the pressure. Instead of having Kelce do like a hook and round or whatever, no, he'll just run across the field, right, and slants all over the place. So that way, that one defensive end or that linebacker is not going to be pressuring Mahomes, because Kelce's such an important part of the system, of the aerial game, of the air game. So that's what it is. And if you got guys like that, then you got to use them to your advantage. You can't just get stuck in this whole, I'm going to run this system because two tight ends and this. No, man. Like, you got the team there. Your O-line can only hold up for 5 to 6 seconds. So, your quarterback's got, speed or doesn't have speed. And he can throw far or he can't throw far. His accuracy. So you got to use your people to your advantage. And I don't believe there's coaches in the NFL who do that to the best of their ability, except for a few. And Andy Reid's one of them. So and that's why
Robertson. My opinion on Robertson is he's had some injury problems lately. He's not as good as when he first came on the scene with the Giants. But I'll say this: I'm sure they checked him out. I'm sure he's healthy. He's a pretty good running back. People says he's above average, and I do think that he is above average. But I would have went after maybe a Kareem Hunt or who's the other guy? Dalvin Cook. That tells me they're expecting to do something with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and I mentioned this months and months ago before pre-draft. I was like, it would be to the Giants' benefit if they got rid of both Daniel Jones and Saquon because of the financial situation they were in.
Yes.
They would only be able to keep or sign one of them. And I wasn't too, and I haven't been too, psyched or excited about what Daniel Jones is doing yet. I feel like his progression, even though it shows that he's getting better every year, I don't feel like, as much as he's getting better every year, they're not getting 2 or 3 more wins out of that every year, right?
Yeah.
They're still kind of in the same place. So, but again, there's a new regime was shown and Dable, and like you said, smoke and mirrors. And, if
Mitch Trubisky first year there with, I can't remember that head coach. Now they fired him and he's back with Kansas City. Mm-hmm. It's buried that with the Bears where they never went back to the playoffs. So I don't think they're going to go back. I got a feeling this Commander team is going to push them a lot harder. Plus the NFC, the Dallas is still going to be good. The Philly's the heavy favorite.
Philly will be the heavy favorite, right?
Yeah, heavy favorite. And
Right.
you got the West, too. It's still got a couple good teams out there.
And I'll tell you what, I feel like Jalen Hurts as a quarterback has more promise than Daniel Jones improving as a quarterback.
Yes.
And even Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones anyway. He just hasn't been able to progress as much as he should be progressing as far as finishing games off. But that was more of like missed opportunities and miscalculations with the play calling going on, which I don't even understand why Kellen Moore got the job for the Chargers. But that's another situation. But to be honest with you, Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Should
well,
get
he's
paid.
the best quarterback in that division right now.
Right.
So he's already been to the Super Bowl.
Right. So what the Giants did was it's inconceivable to think that you're going to come out and beat the Eagles. No.
Yeah.
Twice.
I think, my sense is that the owner's pushing for that. Because like you said, Sheehan and DeBall, Daniel Jones and Saquon are both players they inherited. Those are Dave Gettleman guys.
Yeah.
And I told you Barkley's been overrated since he was drafted. He's the most overrated running back since Reggie Bush back in 2006, I want to say.
Yeah, but again,
I
mentioned to you in the messages that Reggie Bush got a bad rap because he went to a bad team.
He went to the Saints and they won the Super Bowl.
No, he was at Detroit first, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't.
He went
you got him mixed up with Barry Sanders.
No, man. He played in Detroit.
Maybe later on. Remember the Saints drafting with number 2 overall, Mario. He was supposed to go number 1.
Right.
Barkley also went number 2. They both went to big schools. Barkley's overrated. I talked about the list of players, great players drafted after Barkley, including Nick Chubb, who's got better stats.
Yeah, Chubb is more consistent anyways, and that's a better O-line in Cleveland.
It's a slightly better O-line, but it's Cleveland, one of the worst organizations in football. Giants has got multiple Super Bowls in the last 20 years.
Yeah, but again, they're hanging their hat on defense, not being an offensive power. Yeah. So, even with a quarterback who's steady, but it's not like Eli Manning had a rocket of an arm. So, I think
it would be terrible if you think about Le'Veon Bell not getting his timing right. The Giants play in the same building that the Jets do. Le'Veon Bell, there's no way if I'm Barkley's agent, I say, dude, just play. You're making $10 million. That's top 5 of any running back in the league when you're franchise tagged. Go out, kick butt this year. And if they double franchise you, it's even more money.
Yeah, but do you think what is the benefit of having Barkley on the team? What is his benefit for next year if the team is 8-9? And he has the best stats on the team. He might look like a superstar, but again, what is his health going to be like after that season?
Le'Veon Bell regretted sitting out. He said that.
Yeah, he said that, but of course, Le'Veon Bell and Barkley are 2 different types of running backs. And the thing
they can both catch the ball out of the backfield, run between the tackles.
Yeah, but
Barkley is not. Barkley, I'm sorry. Daniel Jones is not. Roethlisberger's a Hall of Famer. 2 Super Bowl wins.
I think for Le'Veon, it was the fact that there was so many people that were good that were going to get paid, and he wasn't going to get paid. The difference, that's a big difference there. And he had a totally different team. The Pittsburgh was they weren't too dependent on him because they had other players they could use. They used him to the best of their what they wanted to do in their system. Saquon Barkley is not being used to the best of the Giants' ability. He is the ability of the Giants to keep the offense alive. He was the only person on that offense that allowed Daniel Jones to become a better player. He should have got paid before Daniel Jones got paid if the Giants wanted to keep him.
You've been listening to Colin Cowherd and Jason McIntyre with Fox Sports.
No, I've said this from the get. And it to me, if I was the GM, I would have let both of them go and got draft picks. Because if you're going to say I'm inheriting these players and now you make the mistake of keeping players that you inherited and not made your own.
Yeah, you get a lot of conditional picks. Even if you don't trade these players, you get conditional picks.
Yes.
So,
and everybody's like, no, keep Daniel Jones. He had a great year. Saquon's the best running back. Like, I mean, come on. Like, these are guys that were going to hurt you financially. And now look at the situation they're in. Yeah. They had to sign Daniel Jones to make faith and do whatever, make good with him. But now look what you did with the running back. Now, people who play for the Giants are like, are they going to do me like that? Because they're saying they're going to sign me for next season if I have a good season. So now you got this whole, drama thing going on with with your GM, your players. And now the coach has to come in and say, okay, guys, we're going to go win the Super Bowl. That's not how that happens, man. That's never happened. I think maybe teams have made the Super Bowl with that happening, but not winning.
Well, it is what it is. It's a great story to follow throughout the summer. I hope Barkley seems like a nice guy. He seems like a stand-up guy. I hope he gets wise. He also has 2 agents. I don't know what that's all about. But it seems like too many people's in his ear.
So
CAA's working with him now.
Yeah, so he's with Jay-Z's group, and Jay-Z's group includes CAA's.
Okay, is that people. What that's about?
Yeah,
okay.
So that's how they're contracted. But look, at the end of the day, even if his agent's not getting what he wants, if you're a GM, do you pay him? Do you pay Saquon Barkley? Do you pay Saquon Barkley what you pay McCaffrey? Yes or no? If you're a GM.
No.
Okay. Now, if you're
McCaffrey was already moved, that was already proved to be a bad move. And Barkley's been hurt like McCaffrey has been.
So why would it have been a bad situation for the Giants not to sign him before the season even started and then moved him before the draft? What would have been the issue there?
They made a mistake, Carlos. They should have traded him.
Right, and
I would have been to the Bears even if I got a 3rd-round pick for him.
And we mentioned that, right? That was ideas.
Yeah, that was our game plan 6 months ago.
Right. So, and then another thing was that, and it's okay too if Daniel Jones went, because even having a decent backup was almost like having Daniel Jones anyways, because you didn't have.
And everybody points out Daniel Jones's stats with Barkley and stats without Barkley. Well, how about Daniel Jones with Brian Daboll versus non-Brian Daboll? That's the real catcher. Play calling and play design is huge. That's why coaches in the NFL make big money, man.
And I'm gonna tell you something. Daboll looks like a superstar because there's a great defensive coach there that allows him to get the ball back if they made a mistake to begin with.
Yeah, they paid a pretty penny for that coordinator. I'm telling you that.
Martin Wigg is the main reason the Giants are winning, which is the main reason the Giants have been winning for the last 20 years, is because they've had a decent defense.
Yeah. But he exceeded my expectations, the ball.
Again, because that defense he has was okay.
Yeah, but there's some good. He really called a good game in some of the. I mean, he really tricked Tennessee. He tricked Minnesota twice.
Well,
of course, they got mauled by Philadelphia.
I was gonna say they went to the playoffs and looked like they didn't even know they was gonna play that for the playoff position.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But anyways, switching gears, huge story out of here in Nashville. I thought maybe Tennessee would do that. Go out and be a player for Hopkins, but I really thought this has got to be because the Patriots have a player on a quarterback on a rookie contract. I thought Tennessee's got about a 20% chance here. And obviously, Mike Vrabel closes the deal. What's your thoughts, man? I'm curious what you think about Titans signing DeAndre Hopkins.
So if you guys haven't been following the show, we said it here a month ago.
Yes.
That Hopkins had a better chance of being on the Tennessee Titans than on the Patriots.
Because he likes the veterans.
Right. Not only that, but because he's already been coached by Bill O'Brien.
Yes.
Right. And his coordinator is currently on Titans roster. I feel like he has a better relationship with his coordinator than he did when O'Brien was head coach.
Yeah.
Right. And in fact, there was issues that had come up, and be that as may, you still have the head coach up there in Belichick, and that's not an easy situation, I don't think. And the quarterback situation that they have now at the Patriots, with the team kind of like still rebuilding, your opportunity of being in the playoff is less than in the AFC South, where you have a team that has consistency with the coaching staff as far as the head coach, because they've been in and out of they've been losing offensive coordinators left and right. But I think that's been a positive move because some of those coordinators haven't done anything for the teams that be on now.
Yeah.
As head coaches or even as coordinators, and so the stability that they have in Tennessee, plus they have a running game, right? Like if you're a wide receiver and you're part of you're not dependent on having to throw the ball all the time. Having a running back, that gives you a little bit of rest. You have one of the best rookie class one of the wide receivers that came out of that rookie class. So there's another part that you can share.
You think Burks is going to be that good?
Yeah, I think Burks has showed that he can be that good, and he can be better.
He really looks good to me too.
The problem with him is that that offensive coordinator playing those wide receivers out, like Tibbs is playing his Knicks players out. They just put them out there to run out of gas, and you got to build something instead of just waste something. You can't just waste them out there. And then the only problem that I thought the Tennessee would have is the quarterback situation. Do you think Tannehill can take you to the next level? He's taking you through the playoffs. He hasn't taken you to the Super Bowl. Now, can he put his mindset? Can he be more relaxed now that he has the tools to just go all the way? And another thing is, can he stay healthy? Yeah. If he doesn't stay healthy, does the young?
Well, that's all about those new players, those 3 new offensive linemen I mentioned: Brunskill, Dillard, and of course Sonorski, who's huge. I think he's going to be a beast.
And I hope
they can hold up to their billing.
They just have to play good football. They can't play okay football.
Between 15 and 17, they were 31st in offensive line ranking, right? Or 32nd when the season ended.
They got to get to being on step with each other, if anything. Yeah. Right. And then if Tannehill goes down, will Malik Willis be able to just carry on the play calling, right?
Right.
So this situation for the Titans isn't the best that the Titans are in, but it's better than the Patriots situation, because the Patriots don't have a true running game. They really don't. The quarterback situation is still kind of rocky, even though they have a quarterback on a rookie contract. He was very unstable last year. The season before that, he was okay. And now he's going back to a coach that understands who he is.
A real offensive coordinator,
Yes, but
Bill O'Brien.
But I don't think that Bill O'Brien can make this guy have a better season. It's not just going to be about him play calling. It's got to be the team. And I feel like, if you're Hopkins, you're like, man, that team is still rebuilding. But the Tennessee Titans, they're in the AFC South. They can come in first or second and still be in a playoff position. That's a better sell. That was a better deal for him. And I think that D-Hop's made enough money in the last few seasons that he's okay trying to get to a Super Bowl situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. You guys made a good point, you and Pickles, going back to that O'Brien thing. I was ready to bash Bill Belichick and the Patriots because Mac Jones is on a rookie contract. This team should have the money to go ahead and get some insurance at that receiver position to offset everybody. It could be a chance. And I've told you this before. You're aware of this. Bill O'Brien can be he was a hothead. He was on video when he was a coach at Houston going after a fan after getting blown out at halftime. The Denver was beating the crap out of him. And I think it was Hopkins, or it might have been Deshaun Watson at the time, holding the freaking head coach back. The head coach is supposed to be the calm one. He's supposed to be holding the players back. So that could be an issue there. Or maybe Belichick, being a defensive-minded guy, poo-pooing that receiver position and trying to just say, we're not going to pay over 13 million. Maybe if you pay 500,000 more, you get a guy like that. Only other thing I can think of, Carlos, is they got this really fast guy Keith knows about. He's his second-year player named Traquan Thornton out of Baylor. Mm-hmm. Maybe they think he's going to kill it, and they don't want to invest that kind of money into DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm gonna throw something out there to you, and you let me know.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, and Tannehill, right, and you're a wide receiver with experience, which quarterback would you pick?
That's a good question. I would probably take right now, Tannehill's got a slightly stronger arm. Mac Jones is very accurate, but Mac Jones can't get the ball deep. He reminds me too much of Alex Smith. And I did see some flashes out of Daniel Jones before, but I would rank Daniel third, Mac second, but that could change after this year. Mac Jones, this is a big year. This is the biggest year of his career right now.
Do you think that D-Hop is trying to get to a Super Bowl, or you think that he's just wanting to play another year and make money? Like,
I've read it was about the money, but Tennessee was in the they had the 1 seed a year before last. Last year they were one game away. They were one game away from going to the playoffs.
I feel
they had the lead in that game.
Yeah, I feel like
they lost 20-16. Remember?
Yeah, I feel like Tennessee, the Titans have been 5 to 6 players short on between offense and defense of making a Super Bowl, right? Yeah. And I mean that in the sense where they're like maybe a wide receiver and maybe like a safety and like a linebacker. Like there were just a few 5 to 6 players on defense and offense short of being that team that could just make a run at it and just use their the aggressiveness and the youth. The thing is that Tennessee also was considered a young team. Now they're 2 seasons in this and they're starting to peak. But if they peak correctly, listen to this, D-Hop being on the Tennessee Titans team allows Burks to be a better wide receiver and allows Derrick Henry to do Derrick Henry type of things.
Yeah.
All they need to do is make sure that Tannehill is focused and make sure they don't do that 2 tight end set and put in a fullback or another blocker in there to allow Derrick Henry to get to the second level and knock people out at the second level. Because I don't care.
Go ahead.
I don't care if Derrick Henry knocks people out in the first level because that wears him out and that changes his running pattern. Where Derrick Henry is the best at is when he gets past the second level and into open space.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, you got all hyped up talking about Derrick Henry. He's doing a stiff arm.
Yeah, I don't think there's not one football fan that doesn't want to see that. But again, if you're doing a 2 tight end set, you're not going to see that because it allows the defensive linemen to cheat and realize that, hey, these guys are going to try to play that quick throw, all that freaking West Coast Shanahan crap that's going on right now, and it's not good for the Titans, right? The Titans need to focus on what they have and use the players that they have. Okonu, Burks. This is going to be a good wide receiving core. This is going to be a good running back situation for Henry because his backup is good. All they need to do is that O-line needs to be in step, and they need to stay away from the 2 tight end situation. Because if they do start doing that, then they're just kind of staying afloat and they're not maximizing their potential.
Yeah, I was thinking about a scenario. I was watching some of the mini camps. Now, it's just mini camps. Now, I had Rich Ferris on, by the way. Guy works with 104.5, The Zone, the flagship of Tennessee Titans, the Cumulus station. He's watched all the practices. He's watched the mini camps. He's going to the games, etc. And he mentioned how good a blocker that this Sonorski guy is. And I said, man, listen, what I've seen of him, he looks like a Quentin Nelson. If this guy can blow people off the ball the way I see it, you could see a reemergence of a Derrick Henry. and Tennessee could potentially be a great team again. They could be a legit team to win this division. It's just how those Dillard and this Bronco guy holds up.
Right.
I do think Sonorsi's the real deal because he was arguably the best lineman in the whole, even better than that Paris Johnson guy that was taken ahead of him to Arizona.
I feel that he needs to be careful, but he can be the Bruce Matthews type of stalwart player in the line that gave the opportunity for the running backs and the quarterbacks to stay up and be able to play their position well. You need to have those kind of players. If the Rams didn't have, oh gosh, why
Whitworth?
his name just
Whitworth?
No, the Rams. I'm talking about the Rams. I'm talking about the Rams with Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about that left tackle. What's his name?
Orlando Pace.
Or if they didn't have Orlando Pace, and not on that team, that's a different team.
Yeah, he was bad, man.
You know,
he was the number 1 pick.
Yeah, and then even the Jets having the Brickashaw and having
Brickashaw Ferguson was money,
and Mango.
Mango was money.
Yeah, and
the guy before him was money too.
Yeah,
they hit the few home runs with those centers.
Yeah, and so you need to have those kind of guys being able to protect your quarterback, but also being able to make opportunities for your running back to get to the second level. And then, the whole D-Hop with money, no money. I just think no matter where he went, he was going to make money because that's what his salary requires. That's what his contract requires. So this opportunity, the Patriots just didn't have the cachet to seal the deal. And and now Hopkins has the opportunity to be in the playoffs. If he performs well, he's got to play well too. He can't just be like,
and it's a backloaded. By the way, it reported today that the Titans did restructure safety Kevin Byard's contract today.
Thank goodness.
I think the Hopkins thing motivated. That was a Big 12 shot to the whole team and the fan base. People have been asking me about it at work all week.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to say this, and I don't want people's hearts to be broken, but he will demand the ball. He will require the ball to be successful, but he will not get the ball like he's received the ball in the last 3 seasons. Yeah. However, his motivation will be the fact that his contract's so loaded that at least when he gets the ball, he's going to do what he has to do to get that money.
That is true. I mean, remember, this guy had a really productive season with 4 different quarterbacks. Last year, even though he was suspended for 6 games with the PEDs.
Right.
I don't think this is a Julio Jones situation. And I see that is concern from some of the fans.
No, not at all. He's not Julio Jones by a stretch. And I say that because Julio Jones came to Tennessee already played out.
Banged up.
And banged up. Yeah. So my question to you is, does he get the over 1,000 yards? Yes or no?
17 games. I think he'll press. I think he'll get 1,000. How about that? I do think he'll get 1,000. Rich was saying this Tim Kelly, this new offensive coordinator, he's already watched some of the practices. He said everything is going to be up tempo, probably some short passes. He may be a volume catch guy. He may get 6, 7, 8 catches in a game, and one may go for a touchdown. And I think eventually, though, Burks is really talented. I think Burks will be the number 1 receiver towards the end of the season. But, yeah, I could see him getting 1,000 yards if he plays 15 to 16 games.
I'm going to say this. With the availability of Hopkins playing, the Titans can score an average of 32 points. With the combination of the fact that Derrick Henry is also in the game.
And they got that other kid. He's really good running back. That Spears guy.
If these guys can stay playing, the opportunity for them to score is high, especially in the situation they're in. They got to play Indianapolis. I think they'll score more than 32 games on both of those.
Oh yeah.
They'll be playing Jaguars. Those will be close games. I think Titans will score at least 27 points twice.
They match up well against Jacksonville.
Right. So maybe you'll get 21, 27 games one, and then the other game will probably be less because they played each other, right? So they know each other. And then, and then Houston, I think they're going to score more than 32 points against them at least one game.
Well,
right?
You just never know how Houston's going to play. They've got a new coach there, DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah.
You could still throw on Houston. It depends.
At least I'm talking about one of their games. Because they're going to play two. At least one they're going to play.
Yeah, their quarterback, Tennessee's defense is going to be really good. Their front seven's supposed to be good. Really good, two good safeties. I think their cornerback, especially McQuarrie, the guy from Auburn, I think he'll take another step this year. And Fulton's, he's in a contract year. They have a potentially to be a dark horse team because a lot of the national media, they were all going towards Jacksonville. They're jumping on Trevor Lawrence. And Tennessee, it's good for them to lay low. They're not really play well as favorite. They're kind of like the Steelers, right?
Right. And here, because everybody's talking about Detroit, and then people talked about Cleveland, and
that's a good thing, Pickles, with Henry's age.
Yeah,
Spears is way better than Haskins. I'll make that prediction right now. Haskins he's too slow-footed. Their other running back they got from Michigan a few years ago.
Right. And would you draft Hopkins fantasy league first round, second round?
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't get crazy now.
Come on,
because we still got a defensive-minded head coach. I mean, I wouldn't take him over Waddle or
Olave.
Who's the number one down there in Miami? My mind went blank. Tyreek Hill. Not over Justin Jefferson. None of those guys.
Come on, man.
Let's don't go too far, Tony.
Come on, man. I think he'd be in the top 10. I think
he could possibly set the world on fire. Here's my thing. This is another narrative that about coaches. This is a good news thing for Titans fans and Mike Vrabel. There's a narrative that offensive-minded head coaches put them a lot more money and they lean in to the offense more, and they always go into and it's vice versa for defenses. But look at what the Titans did in this offseason with Mike Vrabel being the head coach, supposedly air quote having more power. They signed Andre Dillard at left tackle. They signed Brunskill, a guard. They took a guard in the first round. They can play tackle in Shinorski. They spent a lot of money on Hopkins. That's the offense. And then they drafted a quarterback in the second round in Levis. So that is a very good sign that he's saying, listen, this league is pointed offensive. We got to score points. Tennessee was 29th in points scored last year.
Yeah, and I feel like this, and I'm going to say this.
And that's a good thing. Hopefully,
I would say this. The defense has to get them 7 to 13 points. The defense, they have to be able to push, get the fumble returns, get the interceptions. They have to put the offense in a better situation of scoring. The Titans don't need to be kicking field goals. They need to be scoring, so
that was one of the biggest problems.
Yeah. So the defense needs to do their job, and the offense needs to now has no excuse of being able to do their job. So this is going to be a good season for the Tennessee Titans. If you are a Tennessee Titan fan, you have a better opportunity. And I said this last year also against a better opportunity than the Jets and the Giants. I'm sorry to say that. I'm not a big fan.
Well, the Jets. That's a good transition. What's your thoughts on them going to the on Hard Knocks? What you think the biggest storyline will be? What do you think?
I'm just going to be playing some Jay-Z and be like, it's a hard knock life. Because
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
I think it's going to be good television, but it's going to be terrible football. I already feel that NFL is already playing bad football in the first 4 to 5 weeks of football anyways, because they've transitioned out of playing the preseason games and, having their players ready. So they need to fix that anyway. But as far as the Jets are concerned, this situation for even waiting for Aaron Rodgers to confirm got you on a tilt. Now you're going to be on TV, and everybody's going to be, on high hopes and just anxious. And that calls for good TV, but that calls for terrible football, man. Terrible.
Like Barkley would say.
Yeah, and I'm like, not ready for the season at all. And my prediction and outcome for the Jets and Giants are low anyways. I believe they're both going to be 8-9. And that's just because as much as the teams have defense, they're not going to be able to score. Especially half of the teams they're going to play with or play against. And I'm trying to be, I try to be optimistic, but I'm also a realist. And even if the Jets get 9 wins, I feel like it's still a lost season. And they're going to be in the playoffs as coming in as on the bottom half, and you have a lot of things moving. You're moving forward in the Jets. You have a quarterback, but you still don't know who your linemen are. You still know what you're going to get from
That's
that.
what I was going to ask you. I think you might have heard me say this the other day. I think that they should center the show around. We know about Aaron Rodgers. We get that. That's a given.
Right.
But this Dwayne Brown at left tackle and this Micaiah Becton, who wants to play left tackle.
Oof.
And Becton is saying that, hey, I'm gonna be money. I'm gonna be the best left tackle out here. He thinks that I want to see how that battle goes. Not interview, but kind of get some sound from that offensive line coach and see if you're a Jets fan. If it's me, I want the young guy to beat out Dwayne Brown and put Dwayne Brown somewhere else. Dwayne Brown's 37. He's got his money. I'm sure he's not going to quit the team if he's moved to another position. I want the young, healthier guy, the young, more spry Micaiah Becton to play that, to beat him out like he thinks he can at left tackle.
The problem is that they made him a rose out of him last year, man. Last season, the Jets did a poor job with public relations, a poor job with the coaching staff, everything that this young guy to make him motivated, to get him to have that positive outcome as a rookie, to make him understand and put in the confidence in him, instill confidence in him. They didn't do right by him at all. And he, as a young man,
talk about Beckham,
Mekhi Beckham, yeah, because he was gaining weight. I'm not sure what the Jets O-line coach and staff were doing as far as not getting him the appropriate help or not helping him to make sure that he was ready for the season. When he got injured and then he came back, and the injury, he didn't help himself by getting re-injured. Those kind of things, man, that's going against the young man's confidence. Plus, he had the situation where they said that some of that was because he was with his newborn baby, whatever the personal issues.
Oh, okay, you got some insight there. I didn't know about that. Okay.
Whatever the personal issues were,
yeah.
Aside from him as a football player, the Jets coaching staff, the Jets organization did wrong by not allowing this guy, not protecting this guy from himself and from the media.
Yeah.
Right? If he had any issues with weight, if he had any issues playing, those are things that you can kind of slip by the media and say, you know what, we're working with him. You know what? If you think he has a problem, we'll see come spring. But no, he's a little bit heavy now, but he's going to lose weight. He had kind of a situation, and everything was news. Everything was about the Jets, Mekhi Becton last season. Before the season even started,
he didn't want to be moved to right tackle. He says that hurt his foot moving because he's not used to coming off that side.
I don't.
I think he'll get a shot to play left tackle, though.
It doesn't matter if these young guys have problems, because that's part of learning and growing. The problem is the team allowing that problem they have to get out and they get in the media and get blown out of proportion, because once it's in the media, the player's going to hear it and be like, my own team don't want me. My own team don't have confidence in me. They're going to pay me, but they're not going to pay me the big bucks because they think I'm a lame duck. Like, those kind of things is what hurt him. And I blame the Jets coaching staff, and I blame the fact that they didn't do right by him. Now, this is a new year, a new season. The guy's saying things to you. He's saying to you, he's back, he's ready to play, and he wants to be left tackle, but you're still gonna make him do something else. My man,
No,
if his position is left tackle,
I don't think
leave him
that's
at
going to be
left
the
tackle.
case. I don't think that's going to be. I think he'll get a shot to do it because he was a pretty high draft pick a few years ago. They're going to give him a shot because Dwayne Brown's 37 years old.
Here you go, Robert. Here's the issue: if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're gonna tell the coach, "I want that guy. I don't want that guy." Or who you think's gonna win?
Rodgers wants the best blocker when it comes to that stuff because Rodgers he's 38 himself.
Who you think he's gonna pick? The young guy or the older guy?
Well, listen, Tom Brady took a rookie. His name was Tristan Wirfs, and said, "I want that guy to play left tackle because he is killing it." And I said, "No way!" And of course, we know what happened. They won the Super Bowl that year. So, what Pickle says, he's right. That Jet defense, let's not poo-poo the other side. It's really good, man. And I ain't here to make you feel good. I'm just calling them like I see it.
Yeah, but
those
the Jets
stats say
the Jets defense is well balanced. But are they
very well balanced?
Are they
the back end and the front? Yeah. Plus, you got Quentin Williams re-signed. That's huge.
My question to everybody and you is: do you think that the Jets defense is going to be as good as the Ravens defense was enough to take him to a Super Bowl? Because it wasn't Trent Dilfer.
Well, I don't know if it's that. I'll tell you what, if you want to say this year, it could be better than the Ravens this year because Ravens don't got that back end help like the Jets do.
No, I'm talking about the Ravens of old.
Well, you're 23 years ago. That's a big ask. That's a big ask.
Well, but the problem is that you're putting him up on a pedestal before they've proven anything to you, and all you have to go by is what you saw last year. And this is not going to be the same team as last year.
Well, I think Gardner Johnson or Sauce Gardner would be better.
Okay, he'll be better
this year. Players make a big jump from year one, not unless he gets hurt, but players make a big jump from year one to year two.
Yeah,
I think Sauce Gardner's going to be really good.
I'm not poo-pooing the defense. I'm just saying it's a big ask that you have to be willing to, like I mentioned before, score points or be close to scoring points, but you can't be given field goals.
Yeah, and Miami's not going to be a slouch because they did get Jalen Ramsey, and I like Bradley Chubb, but I'll tell you what, the Jets, they got that centerpiece. I talked about this the other day. They got Quentin Williams, all great Super Bowl teams here lately. Aaron Jones last year, he was with the Chiefs. Who won the year before that? Who was it?
The Rams?
Oh, the Rams. Aaron Donald. Year before that, Vita Vea. Okay. Defensive tackle. So, Quentin, that was a huge burden lifted off the Jets' back. You did not want this to be another situation like Darrelle Revis the last time y'all was on Hard Knocks, where he was holding out because of that. So they got that's huge, man. If this line is gelling, yeah, the Jets can beat anybody. I mean, I think the Jets going to be more focused because they were so reluctant to get on here. And I think this team is going to be – look at Aaron Rodgers going to all this other stuff. They're going to be pretty good. I think they may push Miami to win that division.
They're going to win more than 9 games, Robert.
It depends on the camp play of they're got like Tennessee. It's the offense. I think Rodgers will be fine. Garrett Wilson, that guy's going to be money. Don't forget about Corey Davis. Corey Davis has showed flashes of being a number 1 receiver. Now, he's definitely the number 2, So, Alan Lazard, he's going to be a 3 or 4 receiver on this team, And my thing is Breece Hall really 100% or not? They want to look at that running back room and bring in another guy just to be on the safe side.
Well, even if they brought in Delvin Cook again,
or Kareem Hunt's still out there. You don't have to pay all the money to Cook, though.
Who's your blocking, man? You're talking about 37-year-old Mekhi Becton who's young and has very little confidence right now. There's a lot of work still to be done to say that the Jets are favored to win a Super Bowl, man. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I look at it.
I just don't know how good this group is going to gel together, this line.
Yeah, and I don't think the Hard Knocks is going to help him at all, man, to be honest. And this is a testament to
it could fall apart and Rodgers get hurt and it'd be a complete disaster. And
is Saleh get fired?
Get fired?
Does Saleh get fired? Does he get fired?
It can go the other way.
Yeah.
Do you got anything else you need to plug, man?
Nah, man. Like right now, I'm working on a few projects, but I'm trying to get everything settled in, and I'll let people know when it comes out. That way, I'm not saying. I don't like to say things until they're ready to go. So
right,
but
I hear
I'm on
you.
Friday in the morning with Keith Engel on TGI Sports and Northeast Sports streaming, and we're on at 8:00 in the morning on Fridays, and then at night I'm on at 8:00 with you. We keep it real. We have information out here that we trying to go by and make good predictions, and we can go to Vegas with our picks, man. We've been on the money, so
we've been on the roll here lately. I got a feel about my FanDuel account. I feel like I've got a good feel for the league this year since I've been doing the show Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
depending on some of the work issues, but
I'm not sleeping on the Jets. I'm hoping they do better than what I say, because last year they did better than what I said. They won one or two more games.
The Dolphins are still the class of that division, but I think the Jets are going to be much better.
Yeah, but I hope it's a better season for every team this year, because the excitement's there. I don't want to see what I saw last year in the first 5 weeks of football, man. That's kind of been like the trajectory of like every season for the last 10 years. And I want NFL to fix that, man. Like, what are we paying for, man? It's a lot of money that we're paying for the NFL network and for, and watching these shows on every
want everybody to play like Patrick Mahomes and
you got CBS Sports, you got ABC and ESPN, like you got Fox, everybody putting money to NFL football, and Amazon, and now like, come on, man, like make it. This game needs to be better. I feel like we need.
It'll get better, man. We just got to get some new quarterbacks to emerge.
And like I told you, and I tell people, as much as I like the Jets and the Giants, I ain't paying for no tickets until I feel like there's some value in that. I feel bad for some of these season ticket holders that go, and then you're just out there like, yo, what's up? Why can't we get something going? And we in New York, especially in a high media place, our expectations are high because we pay a lot of money. Like, when they talk about New York, the Giants and the Jets, they talk about the high-end players that are coming in. They're talking about the renewing the stadium. They're talking about parking. You got to pay for parking like twice sometimes. Like, come on, man. Like, New York needs to win. The Giants have done okay for their situation. I think they're in a rebuilding situation now. People don't believe that, but I don't think they're going to be good for another 5 seasons. But I'm not, because I'm not a big fan of Daboll and Schoen. But and now the Jets, they're trying to be on the precipice of doing things, but it's like they do 3 good things and they do 4 things go backwards, man. Like,
I got more faith in the Jets than the Giants this year. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. It's a good show. You guys, catch Robert here, man, every night, 7:00
Central 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. I try to get on there, but I got these kids I got to put a bet, and they sometimes they get me off the kilter, man. And but I try. So
you do great, man. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, man. Let's make some plans. Maybe in the next few weeks we meet up, we'll do a show.
You got it. Just let me know ahead of time.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this was like I have one of the quick things that I had to do and get done. And I missed a lot of people. So y'all who's down here in the Clarksville area, Tennessee, if you guys are watching this show, sorry I didn't catch up with you guys. I'm in and out. I'm like the Navy SEALs, man. I go in and I get out. So but I hope to do better by you guys next time I come around. So
thank you, Kathy. All right, man. Have a good one, buddy. See you next week, hopefully.
Yo, enjoy this Friday, enjoy this weekend, enjoy your sports. A lot going on. Go Team USA. Let's go women's sports, women's soccer.